welcome to the one and only Great Ojibwe Baking Show. Today we're making sourdough herb cheese crackers. A new friend gave me some advice on these videos that I've been making. Shout out to Ryan Melling at the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis. And one of the things that he suggested is that I try to make the videos a little bit shorter, and one way I can do that is by not going step by step for everything and show you guys how I do every single part of the baking process. Now, to be honest, part of me kind of feels like, I don't know, like you're on lockdown. Like, what the fuck else have you got to do but watch this video? But at the same time, I'm also empathetic towards the fact that if I were not me and I sent not me a 30-minute video of me talking and baking bread and was like, hey, watch this, what did you think? I might be like, whoa. So anyway, I'm gonna try to make it a little bit shorter today. I'm gonna kind of fast forward through some steps, but if you watch this and you have questions about how I did something, leave a question in the comments and I'll get back to you with more detail. I'm also gonna try to swear less because one of my friends, you know who you are, told me that she had started turning these videos into a drinking game to fucking take a drink every time I swear and see how long it takes her to get drunk, which, like, honestly, I don't care, except that, like, I don't know, someday my grandma might see this or something, and she wouldn't like that. Now, I told you that today we are making sourdough crackers, and you might be asking yourself, what's a sourdough? Well, a sourdough is a naturally leavened bread, and it's made using a sourdough starter, which is a mix of fermented flour and water. This is mine. I started it on Friday. You can't really see on camera, but it's starting to get little bubbles inside. And inside this fermented flour and water is naturally occurring yeast and also bacteria, which is what gives sourdough its namesake sour taste. So you might be looking at this and asking yourself, like, the fuck, is that safe? And the answer is, I don't know. I probably wouldn't drink it the way it is like this. If anybody watching has like a lot of experience making prison hooch, you might be able to give a more detailed answer. But what I do know is that when this has fermented sufficiently, it will be able to naturally leaven bread. And later this week, we'll probably be making some sourdough bread. But in the process of getting your starter going, you have to discard some of what's already in here and feed it every day with new flour and new water. And the sourdough discard is this stuff right here. Now, over the course of doing this every day for like 5 to 10 days, you can end up with a lot of discard, and that's a lot of wasted food. And you know I don't like to waste food, but what's great is that you can also use the sourdough discard to bake a bunch of different shit. And so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna bake crackers. Crackers are delicious. Also, they're non-perishable, which allows me to add them to my food stores for the apocalypse that may or may not be coming. We still don't fucking know. Great, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna start by mixing all of my dry ingredients in this bowl. Here I have a half cup of flour. I have some cheese because cheese is fucking delicious. This is a mix of Parmesan and some Italian cheeses that I had left over from the other bread that we made over the weekend that I'm just trying to use up. You can really use anything. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt. We don't need a ton because we're gonna put salt on the top of the crackers as well. And I'm gonna add some herbs. Here is some marjoram that I chopped up, and this again is just the marjoram that I had left over from the cheese jalapeno beer bread that we made over the weekend. This is the last of it. I want to use it up, so I'm gonna throw that in here. I'm gonna throw in a little thyme. This is dried thyme. I'm just gonna give it a little sprinkle. and some granulated garlic. And I want to shout out that this garlic, God, I love garlic. Garlic is the best. This garlic is from a store, a company based in Milwaukee called Penzeys Spices. And what I love about Penzeys Spices, one, they're a Milwaukee-based company, which is fucking dope. Two, if you go inside their stores, they smell so good. And they have locations, not just in Milwaukee, but in different areas, for sure all over the Midwest, maybe the country. You can go on their website and look. The third really cool thing about Penzeys is that their owner fucking hates Donald Trump, and so do I. And actually, like, if you, sign up for their email list, this guy will send out emails like, the president is an asshole, everybody have a free jar of herbs, like, come to the store, which is cool. And there's a company in Milwaukee that they're related to called the Spice House. And when I was a kid, my mom used to go to, I'm gonna add a little more garlic, fuck it. My mom used to go to their original location on Old World 3rd Street in downtown Milwaukee, and we would go in there and it smelled so good, and they would give me and my brother like little cinnamon sticks to chew on while our mom shopped. Anyway, good spices are good cooking. Support Milwaukee businesses, fuck Trump, go Penzeys, go spices. Anyway, so I've got all of my dry ingredients mixed in, and now I am going to add a tablespoon of butter. Doink. And I'm gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil. You could do 2 tablespoons of butter or 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I like a little mix, so that's what I'm going with. And finally, we're going to add our wettest wet ingredient, which is the sourdough starter that I told you about earlier. And we're gonna mix it all together. Okay, that's looking really nice. I'm gonna sprinkle some flour, and I'm gonna give this cracker dough a quick knead. We don't wanna knead it really long or really hard because that's gonna develop gluten and that's gonna make our crackers tough, but we just wanna make sure that we've got it into a nice cohesive kind of ball or disc like this. So that's great. Next, we're gonna sandwich our little dough disc between 2 pieces of parchment and roll it out nice and thin. We wanna try to get it to about 1/16 of an inch. You can do thinner if you want. Keep in mind, the thinner you roll out your cracker, the more you're gonna have to decrease your cooking time so it doesn't burn. Okay, you can see that we've got our dough nice and rolled out, and we've taken the top sheet of parchment off. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a pizza cutter and we're gonna use this to cut it into crackers. They can be as big as you want, they can be as small as you want, whatever shape. If they're bigger, they might take a little longer to bake, so just be aware of that. And it's okay that the edges are a little shaggy, but I'm just gonna kind of try to even them off as much as I can because I am a little bit OCD, and if these crackers don't have straight edges, it's gonna mess with me because that's just my special kind of crazy. Cool. Got this edge. And is this perfectly square? No, it's not. That's okay. You can see I'm not a great cracker cutter, but that's not why they pay me the big bucks. Just kidding. Nobody pays me the big bucks. That's a lie. Okay, so I just took my whole sheet of parchment with the cracker dough and stuck it on a baking sheet. And now I'm gonna drizzle it really lightly with olive oil. Cool, that's good. And then I'm gonna take my pastry brush and just kind of gently brush the olive oil over the top of the cracker. That's gonna give us some nice flavor. It's gonna give us a nice texture and crispiness. And then once we've got this all brushed, I'm gonna do just a little bit more right here. Cool, that's pretty evenly coated. Gotta make sure we get the edges nice. Then I'm gonna take my salt and just give the top a little sprinkle. You can add as much or as little as you like. I would caution, I do like salt, but it's always easier to make something saltier than it is to take it off, although actually you could probably just brush the salt off of these once they're baked. But anyway, I just gave it a nice little sprinkle, and now I am going to pop these in the oven at 350 degrees. They'll probably bake for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna start with 15, see how they go, and then give them more time if they need it. Hey guys, while we're waiting for our crackers to bake, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I plan to enjoy with these crackers. It is the Carr Valley Cave-Aged Marissa. I shit you not. So it says, this American original, that's me, is made from fresh sheep milk, not me, and has mellow, complex, and sweet qualities. Me? I don't know. Anyway, this is super cool because it is a cheese company from my home state, the great state of Wisconsin. So this is what I'm gonna eat with my crackers, and it's gonna be delicious. Okay, my crackers are out of the oven. I got them plated up with some Marissa cheese, and we can see that if we snap this, it has a nice snap. It's nice and crisp. Let's see how we did. It's good. It's cheesy, salty, herby, toasty, crisp. That is a high quality cheese and cracker, if I do say so myself. So thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Great Ojibwe Baking Show. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If there's something that you want to bake with me in the future, leave it in the comments and I'll add it to the list for future episodes. And if you like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you back on the next episode of the Great Ojibwe Baking Show!